My fiancé said, "I'm done listening to your feelings and needs. You're too emotional for a man." I said, "Noted." Then I stopped sharing anything, including the fact that I'd already accepted a job in another state. When the moving truck showed up and she had no idea it was for me, that was the first crack in her world. But I'm getting ahead of myself. As the story unfolds, take a moment to like, hit the hype button, subscribe, and write in the comments. Would you forgive her or walk away? Rachel Hart was everything I thought I wanted. Event manager, gorgeous, always the center of attention at parties. We'd been together 3 years, engaged for 6 months. The apartment we shared in Portland overlooked the river. White walls, hardwood floors, the kind of place that looked perfect in photos but never felt like home. I worked as a systems analyst for a tech consulting firm. Nothing fancy, just pulling apart data patterns all day and finding inefficiencies in corporate systems. Good money, quiet life. I liked problems I could solve with logic. Rachel was the opposite. Loud, chaotic, always performing for an invisible audience. She ran her own event management company, which meant her calendar was packed with networking brunches, client dinners, and weekend galas. I admired her hustle at first, thought it was ambition. Took me 3 years to realize she was just addicted to attention. The too emotional comment came on a Tuesday in September. We were arguing about wedding plans. She wanted 300 guests, an oceanfront venue, a live band, and a dress that cost more than my car. I'd asked if we could scale back because her budget was eating my savings and her company was barely breaking even. She looked at me like I'd asked her to cancel Christmas. "You're always whining about something," she said. "Money, time, effort. I need a partner, not another person I have to manage." I tried explaining my concerns, listed numbers, showed spreadsheets. She cut me off. "I'm done listening to your feelings and needs. You're too emotional for a man." Something clicked off in my head. Not anger. Colder than that. Clearer. "Noted," I said. She blinked, expecting a fight. I just nodded and went back to my laptop. That was the moment I started watching instead of talking. 3 days later, I saw her phone light up at 2 a.m. She was asleep beside me. The preview showed a message from Cole Bishop with a kiss emoji and the words, "Can't wait to see you tomorrow." I didn't touch her phone. Didn't need to. I just filed it away in my head like a data point in a corrupted system. Next morning, Rachel left early for a breakfast meeting. I opened her laptop, still logged into her email. I wasn't snooping. We'd always shared passwords, trusted each other, or so I thought. There were dozens of messages. Cole Bishop, personal trainer at the gym she'd joined 2 months ago. Flirty messages, plans to meet, photos I didn't want to see. I closed the laptop, didn't confront her, didn't yell, just sat there drinking coffee and thinking. Then I called Julia Price. Julia was a real estate attorney I'd worked with on a company contract dispute 6 months earlier. Sharp, mid-30s, divorced after her husband cheated. We'd grabbed coffee a few times. She was one of those people who saw through nonsense immediately. "I need help separating my finances from my fiancé," I told her. Quietly. Julia didn't ask questions right away. She just said, "My office, tomorrow at 9. Bring every document that connects you to her." I brought everything. Bank statements going back 3 years, lease agreements, shared credit cards where I'd been making 90% of the payments, the engagement ring receipt still in my name, my half of the security deposit, every document that tied me to Rachel Hart. Julia spread them across her conference table and smiled like a wolf. "This is cleaner than most divorces I handle," she said. "You're not married, no kids, lease is month to month. She makes her own money. You can walk away legally in 30 days without owing her anything." "I don't want to walk away," I said. "Not yet." She leaned back in her leather chair. "What do you want?" "I want her to understand what it feels like when someone you trust treats you like you're disposable." Julia drummed her fingers on the desk. Then she pulled out a legal pad. "I'm listening." Over the next 2 weeks, I became a ghost in my own life. I accepted the job offer in Denver that had been sitting in my inbox for a month. Systems analyst position at a Fortune 500 company, 20% raise and a signing bonus. Gave notice at my current job, citing family reasons. My boss was disappointed but understanding. 2 week severance, clean exit. I started packing my things in boxes labeled storage that I kept in the spare bedroom Rachel never used because she'd filled it with inventory for her company. Boxes of promotional materials, extra chairs, table linens. She wouldn't notice a few more boxes. She didn't notice. She was too busy with networking events. I knew what that meant now. Her calendar was suddenly full of gym sessions at 6 a.m. she'd never cared about before. Her Instagram stories showed photos with Cole Bishop tagged in the background, flexing beside gym equipment. Personal trainer, 33. Jaw like a granite countertop, and the personality of a protein shake. Every photo had a caption about wellness journey or finding balance. I didn't confront her. I just documented everything. Screenshots of every post with timestamps. Receipts from restaurants I'd never been to, charged to our joint credit card. A hotel booking confirmation she'd left open on our shared laptop for a weekend when she'd told me she was at a conference in Seattle. All public information. Nothing hacked. Nothing illegal. I withdrew my half of our savings legally. $10,000 I'd contributed over 2 years. Closed the joint credit card I'd been paying off alone. She had her own card. She'd be fine. Transferred my car insurance to my name only. Set up mail forwarding to Julia's office. Changed my direct deposit to a new bank account Rachel didn't know about. Then I scheduled the moving truck for Saturday morning. Rachel came home one evening and found me eating leftover pizza at the kitchen counter like normal. "You okay?" she asked, dropping her gym bag by the door. "You've been weird lately. Quiet." "I'm fine," I said. "Just busy with work." She kissed the top of my head, distracted, already texting someone. Probably Cole. "Don't wait up," she said. "Meeting a client for drinks downtown." "Sure, have fun." She left in a cloud of perfume. I heard her heels clicking down the hallway. I pulled out a piece of paper and wrote in neat block letters. 3 days left. I left it on the kitchen counter next to the coffee maker. She walked past it the next morning without reading it. Just grabbed her coffee and rushed out the door, phone pressed to her ear. The moving truck showed up at 8 a.m. on Saturday. Rachel was at a yoga class, probably the same one where Cole worked as a backup instructor. I'd timed it perfectly. Checked her calendar the night before. She'd be gone until at least 11. The movers were efficient. 2 guys in matching gray shirts who didn't ask questions. They packed my stuff in 90 minutes. Furniture I'd bought before we moved in together. Electronics, books, the coffee maker she'd never learned to use. My desk, clothes, everything that was mine. I left her things untouched, even left her the couch we'd picked together because I didn't want it anymore. I was loading the last box when her car pulled into the parking lot. She got out slowly, staring at the truck like it was a spaceship. "What's going on?" she asked. "Moving." "Moving what? Where?" "My stuff. To Denver." Her face went white. "Denver? What are you talking about?" "New job, better pay. Signed the offer 2 weeks ago. I start Monday." "You didn't tell me." I looked at her directly. "You said you were done listening to my feelings and needs, so I stopped sharing them." She laughed, a sharp, nervous sound. "This is ridiculous. You're not just leaving. We're engaged." Already separated everything. Julia handled the paperwork, bank accounts, lease, credit cards. "You're not responsible for me anymore, and I'm not responsible for you." "Julia? Your lawyer friend?" Her voice went up. "You got a lawyer involved?" "Didn't need to involve her much. You're not my wife. I just needed someone to make sure everything's clean." "This is insane!" I reached into my jacket pocket and pulled out the small velvet box, set it on the hood of her car. "Not anymore." She grabbed my arm. "Wait, can we talk about this?" "You're late for something," I said. "What?" "Cole's expecting you at noon, right? Don't want to disappoint him." Her hand dropped. I got in my car and drove away. Watched her in the rearview mirror, standing there holding the ring box, looking lost. The revenge didn't stop there. That was just the opening move. The real damage came from Julia's connections and my patience. Rachel's business depended on her reputation. Event management is all about trust, so I made sure the right people knew the truth about who Rachel Hart really was. Not lies, just truth. I sent an anonymous email to her biggest client, a law firm that hired her for corporate events. The email included screenshots of her Instagram posts, with Cole, time-stamped during business hours when she'd billed them for venue scouting. She'd told them she was working. She'd been at the gym taking selfies. They canceled her contract within 48 hours. Another client, a nonprofit, found out she'd been inflating her expense reports. I just made sure their accountant started asking detailed questions. Once someone looks closely at Rachel's bookkeeping, the cracks show fast. 2 more contracts dissolved within a week. Rachel tried calling me, 16 times over 3 days. I blocked her number after the first voicemail. I didn't owe her explanations. Cole was a different problem. I knew he'd come for me eventually, so I decided to go to him first. I walked into his gym on a Thursday afternoon, 2 weeks after I'd left Portland. The gym was one of those CrossFit places with concrete floors and loud music. Cole was in the middle of a training session, barking orders at a client on a treadmill. "Cole Bishop?" I said, loud enough to carry. He turned, recognized me immediately. His jaw tightened. "Get lost," he said. "Just wanted to return something." I held up a keychain. His keychain, the one Rachel had left on my kitchen counter weeks ago. His client glanced between us, uncomfortable. "You know Rachel Hart's engaged, right?" I said, projecting my voice. "Well, was engaged, before you two started your networking sessions." Cole's face went red. "Shut your mouth. She tell you she owns her event company?" "Funny. I checked public records. It's mortgaged, twice. She's $60,000 in debt and bleeding clients." I said, "Shut up." "She tell you about the credit card debt I paid off? $15,000. She spent it on spa days and designer clothes, said it was business expenses. It wasn't." He stepped toward me, fists clenched. The client backed away. "She's using you, man," I said calmly. "Same way she used me. Difference is, I was actually going to marry her. You're just the exciting distraction. Once that wears off, she'll find someone else." He shoved me. Not hard. Just enough to feel tough in front of witnesses. I smiled. "Thanks." "For what?" "Assault. On camera." I pointed up. The gym had security cameras. One pointed directly at us. His face went pale. "Touch me again and I'll press charges," I said. I walked out. Next day, his car got towed from a private lot. Anonymous tip to the property manager with photos and dates. Day after that, his Instagram got flooded with screenshots, messages he'd sent to 3 other women while seeing Rachel. Someone had done their homework. That someone was Julia. She'd hired a private researcher, all public records, all legal. Cole started losing clients. His influencer sponsors dropped him. Rachel's remaining clients saw the screenshots too. They didn't want to be associated with him, which meant they didn't want to be associated with Rachel. Her business collapsed faster than I'd expected. Cole called me 5 days later. "You're finished," he said, voice shaking with rage. "Come finish me then." "I will. I'll be at Brighton Park tomorrow night, 7 o'clock, tennis courts. Come alone." He hung up. Brighton Park was empty at 7. Cold October night. I stood under a streetlight near the tennis courts, hands in my jacket pockets, watching my breath form clouds. Cole showed up at 7:15, walking fast across the grass, face twisted, hands shaking. "You think you're clever?" he shouted. "I think I'm patient. You ruined my career, everything. You helped with that. I just gave people accurate information." He charged. I stepped aside. He stumbled past me, caught himself on a fence. "You're not even going to fight?" he said. "Didn't say that." He swung wide. I blocked with my forearm, countered with a jab to his ribs. Pain shot through my knuckles, but his breath left in a whoosh. He grabbed my jacket. We went down hard on the cold grass. Rolled. He was stronger, outweighed me by 40 pounds, but he was sloppy. Rage makes you sloppy. I hooked his leg and used his momentum to flip him, pinned his arm behind his back, knee on his spine. Rachel doesn't love you, I said, breathing hard. She loves what you represent. Status. Attention. She'd drop you the second someone better showed up. Shut up. She already is. He froze. What? I pulled out my phone, showed him a screenshot. Rachel's calendar. Still shared with me because she'd never thought to revoke access. Dinner reservation. Tonight, 8 o'clock, downtown steakhouse, with someone named Marcus Webb, VP at a marketing firm. 42, divorced, 6-figure salary. She upgraded, I said. You were just the placeholder, the guy who made her feel desired while she looked for someone with money and stability. His face crumpled. I let him go, stood up, brushing grass off my jeans. You want revenge? Take it out on her. Not me, I'm done with both of you. He sat there on the cold ground, staring at the phone screen, shoulders shaking. I walked to my car. He didn't follow, but Rachel did follow me. She was waiting by my temporary apartment building when I got back at 8:30, arms wrapped around herself, eyes red and swollen, makeup smeared down her cheeks. You destroyed everything, she said when she saw me. No, you did. I just stopped protecting you from the consequences. I loved you. You loved the idea of me, the stable guy who'd pay your bills and never complain. That's not true. You called me too emotional for wanting a partnership. Then you slept with someone else and expected me to never find out. She started crying. Real tears this time. I made a mistake. You made a choice. Multiple choices. For months. Please, Alex. I have nothing left. My business is gone. Cole's threatening me. I don't know what to do. I felt nothing looking at her. No satisfaction. No guilt. Just empty. That's not my problem anymore. Please, I'm asking for help. You had 3 days, I said. I left you a note on the counter. Clear warning. You didn't even read it. You walked right past it because you were too busy texting Cole. Her face crumpled completely. I walked past her into my building. The door locked behind me. She didn't follow. I watched from the window as she stood there for 5 minutes, then got in her car and drove away. 2 weeks later, I heard from Julia over email. Cole exposed Rachel to her clients, emailing proof of their affair and her billing fraud, destroying her career. Her company collapsed, she went bankrupt, and moved back to her parents in Sacramento. Cole lost his gym lease and left Portland. Last anyone heard, he was in Arizona trying to rebuild his Instagram profile. I started a new job in Denver in November, corner office, good team, challenging work, and began casually dating someone in finance. I felt no guilt, only the satisfaction of having executed everything perfectly. I broke no laws, hurt no one except in the fight he started. I simply stepped back and let the fallout they created take them down.